What is up, everyone? Michael Damon here with the latest episode of Starbeam.one, Standup and Shine and Shill. It's a series I put together to keep people up to date with my project Starbeam.one. This show is modeled after the agile methodology of a stand-up, where you tell your teammates what you're working on, what you're going to be working on, and any sort of friction points that you are encountering. And what I've added is so much more. Let's begin. Okay, starting off with some program notes. There's a big ticket items at the top of the show. Any sort of big news worth discussing here, and kind of big news here. Yeah, Lady Leah is back, and as you may or may not know, this has been a 3-month ordeal, almost 3 months, 86 days to be exact. I know this because I have been nagging Twitter support during this time with each and every day, letting them know the day count that her account was suspended, and on day 87 or late 86, Twitter support actually got in contact with her and got her account reestablished. And we use this service called Do Not Pay, which saved the day. And it's really interesting too, because Lady Leah contacted Twitter twice with an appeal, and nothing really got a reply during those 3 months. And so Twitter's own appeal process did not work, but this donotpay.com did. And so whatever the reason, it's over, and Lady Leah is back, and she's promoting Starbeam.one. And, I keep telling her that, I'm invested in this too. 10,000 follower account, heavily promoting us. Was more than worth it to me, and also helping out a fellow artist as well, and getting that situated as well, and also kind of learning about Twitter and its dysfunction. That was also kind of a side point for me, and so that's all done, and that's back now, and sort of getting back into the swing of things here, and having just a little bit of normalcy here, and getting that resolved was a huge win. And moving along here is, it's November already. It's November already, and now we've got, one more month, or I guess 2 full months here. It's just already November, so I'm already thinking, there's just 1 more month after this. And, where did 2023 go, right? And it's sort of like, wow, this is already here in November, and here we are. So, I am currently working on Alpha 3, which is going to be announced next month, next December for this show. So 2 shows from now, it's going to be on December 5th. And so that will be expected here for December 5th will be beta 3. But wow, I'm just thinking, wow, it's just already November, and here we are. We're already preparing for Thanksgiving and for the Lions to play on Thanksgiving, the traditional Thanksgiving game. So that's always fun as well. So there's that. And then kind of getting back to the last point here is production and how I'm feeling productive with my coding and development. That's been really going really well, and we will talk a little bit more about that. So things are kind of looking up here lately. Not to get too ahead of myself here, but they are. Okay, so what did I do since the last time you saw me, which was 2 weeks ago? Working on the account recovery story, and that's done. I'm pretty happy with that. And, we ran into a little bit of an issue there where the account could not notify you, coming back from Twitter, of the account that you're trying to authenticate with. So there's no way of knowing when an account is suspended, just that an account was suspended. So there's no way of saying which account was suspended so that we could, update it on our side. It's just that an account was suspended, if that makes sense. So that was kind of challenging, but we have a really kind of generic account recovery system in place to where if you do have a failure with authenticating with a service, you can supply your email, and then we send a code to your email, and then you can take the next step there to reestablish another authenticator to securely log into your account again. And so that's in place. I'm pretty happy with that. It would be nicer to get the exact account that failed from the provider, but that doesn't seem to be possible. So we have the next best thing there. And then after that was the administration application, which is what I've been working on nonstop, literally, and it's been great. It's been a really good feeling getting all of these features in place, and there's a huge sense of momentum with that, and also finally attending to these items that have been on my backlog here forever, it seems like, and now they are being attended to. And it's there's a lot of new features that I'm adding. Like an account, taking an account and setting its status. What is it enabled? Is it disabled? Or setting an account's owner. One of the things we've been kind of looking into is beneficiaries, and what happens if there's a mistake with a beneficiary account and it somehow gets applied to the wrong user, right? Well, initially I wanted to make it so that it's more like the blockchain, and when you have the blockchain, everything's immutable, and it turns out in practice it's a lot more desirable to have a system where you can modify your mistakes. So, there is the blockchain and the immutability of the blockchain, and there is some merit to a lot of those use cases. But by and large, in a centralized system, if you make a mistake, the expectation is that you can fix it. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now with the administration application. So now we have this in place to where if you assign a beneficiary and a mistake is made with an account and the account has a wrong owner, or account's just sitting there without a correct owner, now we can actually assign the owner. So that's really cool. And a few other, features like that, so to make the administration easier and more comprehensive. And then kind of like, I should probably have this last bullet point on every time I have this slide here, is that general quality fixes, because this is kind of what I do with the remainder of my time, is fixing problems. So usually just occurs when we've got, I'll just be working through the day and we have a bug, a reported bug, or an error happens in production and I got to go check it out and see what's going on with that. So yeah, just general quality fixes. But overall, I'm feeling really good about the progress of everything right now. It's a really nice place to be. Okay, so what am I doing? You can see there in our spreadsheet here, I've been using a spreadsheet for over 4 years now, or nearly 4 years now, and I haven't used any sort of paid product, because all I do is I add up my tasks, like as you see, and set the hours, and that's how much work I have left remaining. That's what I've been doing for almost 4 years now. I'm really happy with the system. And so you can see all the tasks there for beta 3 features. I got the locked out authentication, which is the account recovery story that I just discussed. We got the administration CMS. So the interesting thing about this is that there's a lot of work that's being done with the administration CMS content management system. But there are features that keep popping up. Like, for instance, so we disable or enable account, or we set the owner. Shouldn't there be like a logging system with that to keep track of who sets what? Because I'm not going to be the only person in the administration application. As time goes on, we're going to have other people in there for support and whatnot. So it's nice to have, an audit trail of when these kind of events occur. We have them with users, but we don't have them accounts. But now we do, because I was thinking I had to add it, and then I added it. So now we have an audit trail of these kind of events and when they occur, who did them, and the reasoning behind that, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's in there. And so again, just kind of these sorts of features keep popping up, and I attend to them. So I've got about a day and a half left on that. And then they're kind of in the same vein as that is the Entity Framework integration. So Entity Framework, right now, we don't have a really elegant way of executing data migration. Right now it's just load up, and it's not I'm not really happy with it. So what this does is this moves data migration into the administration application, which is where it should have been in the first place in hindsight. And then that should take a few days of work. And then after that, if I get past that, there's going to be community markets. I think I've talked about this before in previous shows, where we're going to have it so that we can establish a community market, and it's going to have its own collection and its own capacity settings and so on and so forth. And that's what I'll be getting to once I get done with these other features. Okay, friction points, my favorite time of this episode with Hide the Pain Herald, and pretty much the same as last time. Microsoft, we've got this IDE editor problem, and it actually seems like it's getting better. The one thing that I'm looking forward to is JetBrains has improved their Razor rendering for ReSharper, and so that should help out a lot. And I'm looking forward to that. That's for the next EAP, which should actually be this week or next week at the latest. But Microsoft still has problems. It's not as bad. It's 2/3 as bad as it was, sort of thing, but it's still noticeable. And I have to say that it's actually not as bad as I recall it. So there must have been some other issues here, or things are just in general getting better, but it's not as bad as I remember. Really, the only thing that I have a big problem with are build times, and build times still take anywhere from 30 to 40 seconds whenever I have a single change in my Razor project, and that's also there. There's also the other issue of the redraw, and this is a major issue. Every time that I debug, I have to wait 10 to 30 seconds for it to start and 10 to 30 seconds for it to shut down. And this has to do with redrawing issues. So I've got this noted in the description and the description of the YouTube video here. You can check that out for the link. And I'm going to, it's just, I'm not nagging every day, but I'm nagging every time I do these shows now. And that's just one of those things where I'm just going to, let them know that, this is still an issue and it's still kind of a big issue in my world. But, outside of that, this is actually it, right? And so it's not terrible, but it's just, it's still an annoyance, and it's still, it's actually more than annoyance. It's one of those things where it's impacting my view of, the tooling system in general. And when you compare it to the runtime is excellent. When you deploy this to runtime and see it in production, it is beyond excellent. It's the best ever, right? You look at it, you use it, and it feels really great, but during the development, it's not so much. So I can put up with it, but I don't know if I would be able to have other team members and people that I employ and bring on. I don't think they would feel the same. And so that's kind of my big apprehension towards that. But I guess I should wait until I actually employ someone and get their opinion on it, because, I haven't done that yet. So that might be an imagined shortcoming there. So anyways, moving on from there, we've got Twitter, right? And that's actually been attended to. There's one last issue that's been attended to with Lady Leah. So her problem has been fixed, but there is one still problem that is occurring in our own production with starbeam.one with Droid phones, and I've got that listed in the description. And I'm pinging this forum post every day. This is a daily thing. Once I get into a daily and they haven't replied, it's just a daily thing. And I think I'm on like 2 months now, and Twitter is just really they just don't care. Like, again, getting back to Microsoft cares. You can tell, you can usually get a response within days, right? And Twitter, here we are 2 months later, they just don't care. Twitter seems to pride themselves on not caring. I'm sort of enabling that. I'm sort of feeding them. I get the sense they're like, yeah, we don't care, and we actually appreciate it when you whine and complain about it. Okay, moving on to effectiveness levels. These are levels of feeling, of emotion that I have for the project. And as I say here with these, with a segment, if we all talked about our feelings, the world would be a better place. And so these are different metrics, for the project, and for morale overall. It might be a little higher, it might be a little lower. I think 7 is kind of a good spot. And I have to preface this with saying that I was lazy, and I didn't really move a lot of numbers since the last time. So it's kind of staying put for the most part. Schedule, I might be feeling a little bit better than 7.5. It might be an 8, but yeah, I'm just really cranking through tasks right now. I wished all my tasks were like these past 2 weeks, where I just kind of go through it, and every day I'm going back to that spreadsheet and I'm reducing the number, right? And that's a great feeling. It's very rare that this actually happens, but schedule I'm feeling really good about right now. Technology, I've got these outstanding problems with Microsoft, with the Razor tooling specifically. Everything else about development is awesome. Plain C# files are lightning fast. Like, everything works exactly as I would expect it, except for Razor files. So, but to their credit, it is getting better. And so it might be an 8 here again, but I'm going to keep it here at a 7. Marketing, always kind of a challenge, and now that we have Lady Leah back, that's just one less thing to worry about, and I'm hoping that we can start easing into that and having a little bit more luck with promotion and awareness out there. And it's a little higher than the typical 4 or 5. It's about 6.5, it's the same. Again, I was just really lazy with these numbers. Deal with it. Support, honestly, I'm not getting a lot of support tickets. We're onboarding new users, and everything's just working. There's a lot of people that say anything bad, and everything just works really well so far. But when I do get support, we do manage to fix them, and I feel really good about that. Okay, that's it. Kind of quick there at 15 minutes-ish, and I just wanted to thank everyone out there for all your support and all your purchases. Our volume is starting to edge up a little bit more than it was. We were up at 50 per day, 50 flares, $50 per day in volume back in June, and then it fell down to like 3 about a month and a half ago, and now we're at about 17 to 20 per day. And so we're not doing any sort of formal marketing just yet, and we're getting these last pieces in place. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as time goes on, moving into a new model that I have in mind, keeping pretty much all the major components in place. But subscriptions is kind of going to be our next big accomplishment here. And that's going to be a huge focus here for Beta 4. But we will get into that next time. All right, until next time, stay safe out there and stay bright. Goodbye.